Most people spend their entire lives chasing money, without ever learning how money truly works. They work harder each year, but freedom does not come. Their paycheck increases, but pressure increases faster. They survive, but never arrive. This is the reality of millions. Wake up, go to work, pay bills, repeat. A cycle so common, people assume it is normal, but deep down, you know something is wrong. You know life is not supposed to feel like constantly trying to catch up. You know you were made for more than watching the days blur together, yet no one taught you the rules of money. School taught you how to work for others, but not how to build for yourself. You learned how to memorize, not how to multiply. You were trained to become valuable to someone else's dream, not your own. And so people get stuck. They work for money. They fear losing money, and they wait for money that never comes. But what if you could reverse the entire game? What if money worked for you instead of you working for money? That shift, that single transformation, is the start of your financial awakening. There are two types of minds in this world: a mind trained for survival and a mind trained for wealth. One counts every dollar before spending, the other counts every dollar before investing. One fears risks, the other fears regret. One trades time for money, the other trades ideas for wealth. This is not about being rich or poor, this is about thinking rich or thinking poor, because your bank account is not the problem, your financial mindset is. The wealthy understand a simple truth: money is not the goal, money is the result of smart education, smart decisions, smart risks, smart habits, and above all, smart beliefs. Everything changes the moment you stop saying, "I can't afford that," and start asking, "How can I afford that?" The first phrase closes your mind, the second phrase opens it. You were raised to believe money is earned by working hard, but the wealthy know money is earned by working smart. Hard work is honorable, but hard work alone will keep you stuck. Because the truth is, if hard work was all it took to be rich, construction workers would be millionaires, single parents would be billionaires. The world would look very different. Hard work builds strength. Financial knowledge builds freedom. You must have both. Right now, you are waking up. You are realizing you don't want to spend 40 years trading your life away just to retire, too tired to live it. You don't want to fight every month waiting for the next paycheck. You don't want money to be the reason you say no to life. You want options, security, growth, freedom. You want mornings that excite you, not mornings you dread. And here is what will change everything. Your financial future has less to do with your income and more to do with your instructions, what commands you give your mind, what beliefs you allow to stay, what fears you refuse to obey. Most people never escape financial struggle because they have been programmed to fear. Fear losing money, fear taking risks, fear looking foolish, fear failing. But the wealthy fear something else. Fear staying the same. Fear wasted potential. Fear a life half-lived. Fear regret. Your fears will either build your prison or build your empire. Which one depends on the fear you choose to follow. When people say, "I'm not good with money," the mind obeys. When they say, "Money is complicated," the mind shuts down. But when you say, "I am learning how money works," the mind begins searching for answers. Your words program your destiny. So right now you are rewriting the program. You are deleting the old rules. You are replacing the beliefs that kept you small. You are stepping into a world where opportunities feel possible. Education becomes power. Money becomes a tool, not a trap. Everything starts with one decision: to learn how wealth is truly built. Not through luck, not through shortcuts, not through waiting, but through knowledge, through discipline, through courage, through vision. As this journey begins, you must understand a core truth. The poor work for money, the middle class work for stability, the wealthy work for freedom. and freedom is earned through learning what the poor are never taught. In this chapter and every chapter ahead, you will discover why working harder will never make you truly wealthy, why fear is the biggest financial enemy, why assets are your new priority, why financial education is your real power, why your mind creates your money. You are about to see the world of money not as most people do, but as the successful do. But this is not just new information, this is a new identity. You are not here to survive, you are here to rise, you are here to build, you are here to unlock every opportunity the world tried to hide from you. Take a breath, feel it. This is the moment everything shifts. Welcome to your financial awakening. Your future is no longer controlled by the rules you were taught. It is controlled by the rules you are about to master. Let us begin. Most people are taught to believe that the only way to survive in this world is to get a job, collect a paycheck, and hope that if they work long enough, everything will somehow get better. They trade their time for money 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, for decades. They build their whole life around a paycheck that arrives just in time to be spent, and then they repeat it again. Well, this is the trap. When money becomes the reward for your time instead of a tool for your freedom, your life shrinks into a predictable, endless cycle. Even when income rises, expenses rise faster. A raise does not feel like an improvement. It feels like permission to buy more things you do not need, while locking you deeper into the system that keeps you dependent. This is how the trap tightens. With every new purchase, with every monthly payment, with each loan that promises convenience today but demands servitude tomorrow, people become more locked into their jobs. They cannot leave. They cannot choose differently. They cannot take risks. Their life becomes one long commitment to bills. The world has convinced them that job security is the greatest achievement, but security without freedom is not success. It is captivity disguised as comfort. And here is the truth that rarely gets spoken. Even the best job can only protect you until the day it doesn't. Companies can change, economies can fall, technologies can replace entire careers in a single wave. People who rely solely on a paycheck live one decision away from crisis. A layoff, a medical emergency, an unexpected event, and everything collapses. But when you rely on assets instead of a paycheck, those same events become challenges, not disasters. Most people never break free because their entire financial thinking was built on fear. The fear of not having enough makes them cling to the little they earn. They chase safety so hard that they never learn to grow, and fear becomes the master they unknowingly serve. They wake up every morning to silence that fear, not to pursue dreams. They go to jobs not to win life, but to avoid losing it. The wealthy think differently. They do not wake up to work for money. They wake up to make money work for them. They are not driven by the fear of losing money, but by the vision of expanding it. They understand that money flows to those who know how to multiply it, not to those who only know how to earn it. In the trap of working for money, time becomes the currency you spend most, and time is the one asset you can never replace. The poor and middle class spend most of their time earning money that disappears quickly. The wealthy spend time building systems that keep paying them long after the work is done. That is why a wealthy mindset shifts the question from how much do you make to how much does your money make. When your money earns money, time becomes your ally instead of your sacrifice. But schools never taught you that. They taught you to memorize facts. They taught you to pass exams. They taught you to obey. They taught you how to earn money for someone else's vision. They did not teach you how to build your own. They did not teach you how taxes work, how businesses grow, how investments compound, how money moves in society. They did not teach you financial literacy, because a society full of financially educated people would not accept a life of limitations. So the system trains you early. Go to school, get a degree, find a job, work for decades, hope for retirement. A retirement that, for most, is just a slower version of survival. This is not freedom. This is delaying life until life has already passed. People wait until old age to finally enjoy a few years where time belongs to them again. But what freedom is left when the body is tired, when energy is gone, when dreams have expired? The trap is not the job itself. The trap is believing that the job is the only path. The trap is believing that a paycheck defines your value. The trap is believing you must trade your entire lifetime for security. Working for money is not wrong, but working only for money is a life too small for you. Freedom begins when you see money differently, not as something you chase, but something you control. Not as something that demands all your time, but something that gives it back to you. The wealthy understand leverage, the power of making one action generate income repeatedly. They buy assets, things that put money into their pocket. And they avoid liabilities, things that take money out of their pocket, even if those liabilities look luxurious on the outside. The world rewards those who build value beyond their hours. The employees who rise fastest are those who create outcomes, not those who simply show up. The entrepreneurs who succeed are those who solve real problems. The investors who grow wealth are those who understand that money grows quietly and consistently when it is placed wisely. The trap of working for money is broken the moment you decide to use your job as a stepping stone instead of a lifetime sentence. The moment you take a portion of what you earn and redirect it into something that earns for you. A skill that increases your value. A business that scales beyond your time. An investment that compounds while you sleep. Wealth is not built in a day. It is built daily through decisions that prioritize the future over the comfort of right now. The greatest shift you will ever make is this: stop trading hours for dollars and start trading ideas for income. Every wealthy story begins with someone who looked at their job and said, "This is not where I stop. This is where I start." They used the paycheck not for pleasure, but for progress. They used their evenings not for escape, but for evolution. They used their fears not to freeze, but to fuel their rise. Money will always respond to instruction. If you command it to disappear on comfort, it obeys. If you command it to multiply through purpose, it obeys. If you design a future where money is your servant instead of your master, the trap breaks. You step into power that most people never experience. The world is divided by one simple difference. Some people work for money, and some people make money work for them. You are now on the side of those who choose the second path. You are not here to survive another paycheck. You are here to build a life where every paycheck becomes a seed for something bigger. Most people ask, what job should I get? Wealthy thinkers ask, what assets should I build? That one question changes how you see every dollar that touches your hands, because from this moment forward, your journey is no longer about earning a living. It is about creating a life where time is yours again, a life where choices are not limited by fear, a life where money flows in your direction because you know how to direct it. You are breaking the pattern that millions never escape. The trap is still there, but you are no longer in it. You are stepping into a new mindset. You are stepping into financial power. And the next chapter will reveal what the wealthy chase that others overlook entirely. The true building blocks of financial freedom. Assets. The shift from working for money to making money work for you is the greatest transformation a person can experience in their financial life. It is the moment you stop being a laborer of the system and start becoming the architect of your own freedom. Instead of waking up every morning thinking about how much of your time you need to trade, you begin to think about how many assets you can build, how many ideas you can launch, how many opportunities you can create. Money stops being something that disappears the moment it arrives. It becomes something that grows quietly, steadily, and continuously. Most people never take this step because they believe that the only path to income is through effort. If they stop working, money stops coming. This belief keeps them chained to the endless cycle of survival. But the wealthy see income differently. They understand that passive income does not mean no work. It means work done once that continues paying you long after the work is finished. They plant seeds that become trees, and those trees bear fruit every season without needing to be replanted. There are only two ways to live financially. Either you chase money or money chases you. When you work only for money, you chase. You run. You try to keep up. But when you build assets, money comes to you, it seeks you, it multiplies for you. The question then becomes, what exactly is an asset? It is anything you own that puts money into your pocket, a business that generates profit, a rental property that sends you monthly income, a stock that pays dividends, a product that sells while you sleep, a skill that continues to produce value. Anything that earns without requiring your constant presence becomes a silent worker in your life. Imagine every dollar you earn today is a tiny employee. You can either spend that employee the moment you receive it and it disappears forever, or you can hire that employee to work for you. If you invest it into something that grows, that single dollar becomes 2, then 4, then 8. Each multiplied dollar becomes another worker. Eventually, you have a full team working day and night while you rest, while you travel, while you spend time with your family. That is the secret the wealthy already know. Money is most powerful when it is earning more of itself. But before money can work for you, you must respect it. Not fear it, not worship it. Respect it. Respect means treating every dollar like the beginning of a bigger future. Respect means learning how money moves so that you can move with it, not against it. Respect means using money to create more life instead of more limits. Many people lose money because they try to skip learning. They invest blindly, they chase trends out of excitement, or they follow advice from those who are not financially successful themselves. The wealthy understand that before you multiply money, you must understand money. Knowledge makes investment less risky and wealth more predictable. Making money work for you begins with a commitment to never let money sit still. Money sitting still loses value. Inflation eats it, emergencies steal it, fear traps it. You must direct money like a commander directs an army. Give it a mission, give it a target, give it a purpose. The goal is not to save money forever, but to save money long enough to invest it wisely. At some point, many people realize they are exhausted, not because they are weak, but because their income depends entirely on their physical presence. If they are sick, income pauses. If they take a break, income pauses. If they need time for themselves or their family, income pauses. That is not freedom. That is renting your life. The wealthy refuse this fate. They build streams of income that continue flowing even when rivers of time change direction. Financial independence is not built overnight, but it is built. And the foundation is built from habits that seem small today, but become powerful tomorrow. Setting aside a portion of every paycheck. Learning a new skill that increases your value. Starting a small business that may grow bigger. Investing early, even in tiny amounts, and letting compound growth turn the small into the significant. Compounding is the 8th wonder of the world, but only visible to those who begin. A person who invests early with patience will always surpass the person who waits for the perfect moment. Every wealthy life is built on delayed gratification. They do not trade the future for quick pleasure. They do not spend to impress those who do not care about them. They do not allow status to steal opportunity. They understand that every dollar wasted on temporary excitement steals a dollar from the future version of them who deserves more. Sacrifice is temporary, regret is permanent. You might not have a lot of money today, but you have the most valuable asset required to build wealth: time. Time to grow, time to learn, time to build. The sooner you start turning money into a worker, the sooner you stop being the only worker in your financial life. No matter where you are right now, wealth becomes possible the moment you decide that every paycheck will contain seeds for the future. So how do you make money work for you? You build assets, you learn skills that can be sold repeatedly, you invest in ideas that scale beyond your hours, you understand the flow of money so you can redirect it toward expansion, and you trust that small beginnings, when treated with discipline, become empires. Wealth does not require genius. It requires intention. It requires consistency. It requires the belief that you are worthy of more than a life spent begging for weekends and breaks. Financial freedom does not feel like winning the lottery. It feels like waking up one day and realizing that you own your time, that no one controls your life more than you do. The greatest reward of making money work for you is not luxury. It is choice. The choice to take a day off without fear. The choice to say no to what drains you. The choice to build what excites you. The choice to give your family a life that expands instead of one that shrinks. The choice to live fully before the story ends. You do not need permission to start this journey. You already began the moment you understood the trap and chose to rise above it. The road ahead will ask for courage, for discipline, for patience, but nothing is more worth it than reclaiming control of your own life. The world will not hand you freedom. You must build it. And the next step in building that freedom is understanding the true difference between assets and liabilities, the difference between what gives you power and what quietly steals it from you. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps most people tied to a financial life they never wanted. It convinces them that safety lies in staying exactly where they are, even when where they are feels suffocating. Fear whispers that trying something new will lead to loss, embarrassment, failure. And because fear repeats itself loudly and constantly, people listen. They stay in the same job even when it drains their soul. They avoid learning about money because they assume they will not understand. They reject opportunities because they believe they could go wrong. Fear does not need to win through action. It wins through hesitation. There are 3 financial fears that trap more people than any economic system ever could. The first is the fear of losing money. The second is the fear of being wrong. The third is the fear of changing what feels familiar. These fears are powerful because they do not feel like fears. They feel like logic, like caution, like maturity. But the truth is that most caution is just fear wearing a respectable mask. The fear of losing money often comes from a place of survival. If you grew up watching your family struggle, if every bill brought stress, if every unexpected expense felt like a disaster, your subconscious learned to treat money as fragile, dangerous, temporary. The moment money arrives, the fear of losing it grows bigger than the joy of having it. And when fear leads, growth stops. People hold on to their money so tightly that it suffocates any chance to grow. They save endlessly, but never invest. They choose guarantees, even when guarantees keep them small. They think keeping money still protects it, not realizing that money kept still slowly loses value. The fear of being wrong is another trap. Society punishes mistakes. Schools label them as failures. Jobs blame them as incompetence. People are taught to avoid risks because risks can lead to judgment. But the wealthy understand that mistakes are tuition. Every failed business teaches a better strategy. Every poor investment teaches a better decision. Every rejection teaches a better approach. The most successful people in the world are not the smartest. They are the most willing to be wrong until they get it right. Then there is the fear of change, perhaps the strongest fear of all. Familiarity feels safe even when it hurts. People cling to routines that keep them stuck because the unknown feels unbearable. They may hate their job, but the thought of leaving terrifies them more. They may know that their finances are sinking, but changing their habits feels overwhelming. They tell themselves that now is not the right time, that they will start once they feel ready, but readiness never comes. Change does not wait for comfort. It demands courage in discomfort. These fears combine to build the perfect trap, comfort zones that are not comfortable. People convince themselves that they are choosing stability, when in reality they are choosing limitation. They spend years avoiding risks but still experience struggle. They avoid new paths but still feel lost. They avoid learning but still feel confused. Fear does not protect them from pain, it guarantees it. The wealthy are not fearless. They feel the same fears that everyone feels. The difference is that they move anyway. They understand that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. a signal that the next step matters, a signal that growth is near, a signal that the old version of you is about to be replaced by a more powerful one. The wealthy do not fear risk, they fear regret. Fear becomes a trap when it makes you believe that security is found in staying the same. But real security comes from expanding what you can do, what you know, and what you control. It comes from learning skills no one can take away. It comes from building assets that pay you regardless of what happens around you. It comes from trusting yourself enough to step into the unknown. People often think their biggest financial limitation is money, but the real limitation is fear, the fear that stops them from trying, from learning, from changing. If fear did not exist, imagine how different your financial life would look. Imagine the opportunities you would take. Imagine the conversations you would start. Imagine the businesses you would launch. Imagine the investments you would make. The future version of you who is wealthy, confident, and free is not waiting for more money. They are waiting for you to become braver. Fear will always exist. It is a natural part of growth. But courage grows when you take action, despite fear. Each time you choose progress over hesitation, fear loses power. Each time you make a decision aligned with your goals instead of your doubts, fear shrinks. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is what transforms fear into fuel. Financial traps do not look like traps at first. They look like new cars that impress others. They look like credit cards offering convenience. They look like spending to feel better after a hard week. They look like comfort that slowly turns into chains. The world encourages you to buy things that make you look successful, even if they prevent you from becoming successful. The wealthy know this trick and refuse to play the game. It is not failure that keeps people stuck. It is the fear of failure. It is not lack of opportunity that keeps people small. It is the fear of stepping toward opportunity. The difference between those who build wealth and those who wish for it is not luck, intelligence, or talent. It is the courage to pursue a different path. You are now aware of the trap. You see the fears that once controlled you. And awareness is the first step toward freedom. But awareness alone is not enough. The next step is action, a new way of thinking that transforms fear into strategy. And that strategy begins by focusing on what the wealthy focus on, assets that provide strength, growth, and control. Because the moment you learn what truly builds wealth, you stop fearing the future. You start shaping it. Wealth is built on one foundation, assets. Everything you have learned so far leads to this single truth. Assets are the tools that allow you to step out of the cycle of survival and into the momentum of growth. When you own assets, you own options, you own control, you own freedom. Yet most people spend their entire lives collecting things that look like success, but behave like traps. They buy liabilities, hoping they will feel wealthy, not realizing that liabilities silently steal the wealth they could have built. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. It seems simple, but this distinction is one of the most misunderstood ideas in personal finance. People believe a house is always an asset. They believe a car is a sign of wealth. They believe that new phones, designer brands, and expensive lifestyles mean they are moving up in life. But if something requires you to constantly pay for it, maintain it, or replace it without generating any income in return, it is not an asset. It is a consistent drain. The world teaches people to focus on income instead of assets. It praises those who earn more, even if they spend more. The moment someone gets a raise, they upgrade their life. Their apartment becomes a house, their small car becomes a luxury one, their evenings spent learning become evenings spent celebrating. They feel wealthier, but their bank account does not grow. Their expenses rise with their income, and they remain trapped in a lifestyle that demands they work just as hard, if not harder, to keep it alive. Assets do the opposite. They build you up quietly, invisibly, relentlessly. A rental property that pays you every month, whether you show up or not. A business that sells products even on days when you need rest. Investments that compound when the economy grows. skills that allow you to create value on demand, digital creations that continue earning long after they are made. These are the engines of wealth. An asset has one mission, to pay you. A liability has a different mission, to demand from you. The poor and middle class focus on owning things that appear valuable to others, while the wealthy focus on owning things that provide value to them. They measure purchases not by their appearance, but by their impact. Before buying anything, they ask one question: does this help me grow, or does this hold me in place? Most people do not know that their financial life is slowly being shaped by the things they buy. Every purchase becomes a vote for the future, either a future of freedom or a future of financial pressure. The wealthy understand this. They allow money to flow into assets first and lifestyle second. They do not sacrifice growth for comfort. They allow growth to create comfort. It is not the size of your income that determines your wealth. It is the size of your asset column. A person earning little but investing consistently can surpass someone with a high salary who saves nothing. Wealth is built not by how much you make, but by how much you keep and how well you multiply it. The challenge is that building assets requires patience. Liabilities give instant gratification, new, shiny, impressive. Assets give delayed gratification, quiet, subtle, powerful over time. The world encourages spending because spending fuels the economy. But investing fuels your life. And those who choose investing choose a future where money works for them. The first asset you must build is your financial education. Without knowledge, money becomes a risky game. Without understanding, opportunities are overlooked. Without strategy, fear makes the decisions. Financial education allows you to see wealth where others see confusion. It gives you the courage to act and the discipline to continue. It transforms money from something you fear into something you command. The second asset is your skill set. Skills allow you to create value anywhere, with or without permission from others. Skills can be scaled, repeated, and transferred. They cannot be stolen. The more valuable your skills become, the more income you can generate without trading more energy or time. When you invest in a skill, you are investing in a lifetime of returns. The third asset is ownership, owning businesses, owning property, owning intellectual property, owning systems. Ownership is the difference between working in the game of money and owning the game. Employees earn once per hour. Owners earn every hour, even when they sleep. The fourth asset is investments, stocks, funds, real estate, ventures that grow over time. These are the seeds that compound. They require study, patience, and discipline, but they reward those who stay committed. When investments work, they bring exponential returns, returns that change your life. Assets are the reason the rich get richer. Not because they work harder, but because their money continues multiplying without their constant effort. Every asset you build is a worker you never have to supervise. Every investment you make is time added back into your life. Every skill you sharpen increases the power of your future decisions. You do not need to be wealthy to begin building assets. You become wealthy by building them. Even small steps matter. A tiny investment grows with time. A small business can become a global success. One new skill can open infinite doors. The beginning is not impressive, but the ending can be extraordinary. When you choose assets instead of liabilities, you choose the future instead of the moment. You choose progress over appearances. You choose freedom over pressure. You choose to let money serve you instead of letting money control you. The wealthy do not ask if they can afford an asset. They ask how they can acquire it. They do not wait for perfect timing. They create timing through action. They play the long game while the world chases short-term comfort. Your journey toward assets begins now. In the next chapter, you will learn why the education of the wealthy is different from the education most people receive, and how that difference becomes the foundation of every empire ever built. Financial education is the education most people never receive. yet it determines whether they will spend their lives struggling or rising. Schools teach reading, writing, and memorizing, but they rarely teach how to build wealth, how to manage money, or how to make smart financial decisions. As a result, people leave school prepared to be employees, but unprepared to be free. They are trained to follow instructions, not to create opportunities. They are taught to avoid risks, not to evaluate them. They learn how to take tests, not how to take control of their financial future. The wealthy learn something different. They learn how money actually works. They learn that money is a tool, not a reward. They learn that value creates income, not time spent working. They learn that opportunities appear for those who know how to recognize them. Their education does not come from textbooks. It comes from observation, experience, mentors, mistakes, and action. While most people study to earn a degree that may or may not lead to a job, the wealthy study money itself. They study how businesses grow, how cash flow works, how investments compound, how markets move, how taxes can be minimized, how leverage can expand results. They are not just learning, they are sharpening weapons for independence. They understand that every financial decision either pushes them closer to freedom or pulls them deeper into dependency. What separates the wealthy from the rest is not intelligence, but exposure. They grow up hearing conversations about business, real estate, investing, problem solving. They learn to see money through the lens of growth rather than scarcity. When they hear the word opportunity, they think, how can I make this work? When others hear the same word, they think, what if it goes wrong? The wealthy are trained to think possibility before fear. Financial education is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing enough to make decisions that expand your life. It is about being curious instead of afraid. It is about asking questions that change your direction. Instead of asking, how much does this cost? The wealthy ask, how much can this earn? Instead of asking, can I afford this? They ask, how can I afford this without trading more of my time? The most important lessons the wealthy teach are not taught in classrooms. They are taught through mindset. Lesson 1, money is not scarce. There is more money in the world than ever before. The limitation is not the money available, but the mindset chasing too little of it. Lesson 2, money flows to those who solve problems. The more valuable the solution, the more money follows. Lesson 3, if you depend on one source of income, you are one step away from crisis. Wealthy people build multiple streams so that no single event can break them. Financial education also teaches that taxes impact wealth more than income does. Most people work for money that is taxed before they ever see it. The wealthy earn through businesses and investments where taxes often come after growth has multiplied their gains. Understanding taxes is understanding power. Those who learn how to legally minimize taxes keep more of what they earn and grow faster than those who do not. Another lesson the wealthy learn early is that debt can be dangerous in the hands of the uneducated, but incredibly powerful in the hands of the informed. Poor and middle-class families use debt to buy things that lose value: cars, gadgets, entertainment. The wealthy use debt to acquire assets that produce income: properties, companies, investments. They understand that not all debt is bad. Some debt builds wealth faster than savings ever could. The world often tells people that failure is final. Financial education tells a different story. It teaches that failure is feedback. Every mistake contains a lesson. Every setback contains information. People who avoid failure avoid growth. The wealthy embrace failure as a step toward better decisions. They are not afraid to be wrong because they know being wrong is temporary, but success earned through learning is permanent. Financial education does not end with knowledge. It becomes powerful only when combined with action. Many people read books and watch videos, but never apply what they learn. They know what to do, but continue living the same financial pattern because fear still makes the final decision. Wisdom requires execution. Wealth requires movement. You must do something with what you know. The wealthy do not wait to feel ready. They learn while doing. They take a small step, gather information, adjust, then take another step. Their progress may look slow from the outside, but something remarkable is happening internally. They are building belief, the belief that they can understand money, the belief that they can create opportunities, the belief that they can shape their future. Education is not meant to impress others, it is meant to empower yourself. The moment you begin learning about money, you start seeing the world differently. You notice opportunities that were invisible before. You make decisions with logic instead of fear. You build a future with intention instead of hope. You stop playing the game of survival and start playing the game of growth. You do not need someone to teach you, you can teach yourself. You can read the books millionaires read. You can listen to the conversations wealthy people have. You can take courses that explain investing, business building, real estate, and personal finance. You can choose to invest in your mind even when money is limited, because the investment in your mind will eventually multiply every dollar that comes after. Wealthy education is a lifelong journey. There is always more to learn, new opportunities arrive, new industries rise, new strategies form. But as long as you keep learning, you will keep growing. You will keep expanding your options and strengthening your future. The next chapter will show you the skills that amplify your value and open doors that others never knew existed. The skills of selling and leading, skills that determine who influences the world and who follows it. Every financially successful person has one thing in common. They know how to sell and they know how to lead. Selling and leading are the two most valuable skills in the world because both are rooted in the ability to influence. Influence creates opportunities, moves ideas forward, builds relationships, and turns intentions into income. People who know how to sell can create money anywhere. People who know how to lead can create movements anywhere. These skills allow you to shape the direction of your life instead of being pushed by the direction of others. Most people misunderstand selling. They think selling is about pushing a product, convincing someone to buy something they do not want, or trying to win a negotiation through pressure. That is not selling. Real selling is understanding. It is listening. It is identifying a need and providing a solution. It is helping someone improve their life through something you offer. When you truly understand selling, you become valuable in any environment because every business rises or falls based on its ability to sell. The wealthy understand that everyone is selling something. Employees sell their skills to employers. Leaders sell visions to their teams. Authors sell ideas. Entrepreneurs sell solutions. Even everyday life requires selling, convincing others to trust you, to support you, to see your potential. If you cannot sell, you limit your life to what others decide you deserve. When you can sell, you decide what you deserve. Leadership is selling at a deeper level. It is not about commanding or controlling. Leadership is inspiring. It is creating belief in the minds of others. It is the ability to communicate a direction so clearly that people are excited to follow it. Leadership turns one person's effort into a collective force. It multiplies possibilities because a leader does not work alone. The leader empowers others to grow alongside them. People follow leaders they trust. They follow leaders who act with confidence even when uncertainty surrounds them. They follow leaders who can simplify chaos into clarity. The wealthy learn early that leadership is not a job title. It is a mindset. It is the willingness to take responsibility when others avoid it. It is the courage to make decisions when others freeze. Leadership is earned through example, not demanded through authority. Selling and leading give you power because they allow you to create value on demand. You do not need permission to rise. You do not need someone to open a door for you. You can build your own door or sell your way into rooms you were never invited to. Financial opportunity is everywhere, but only those who can sell and lead can see it. Skills multiply income more than effort ever will. That is why the wealthy focus on developing high-value skills that create leverage. A single sales skill can increase your income more in 1 year than working hard could increase it in 10. A strong leadership ability can put you in positions where income is no longer capped by hours, but expanded by influence. If you can sell, you will always have a way to earn. If you can lead, you will always have a way to grow. These skills protect you from economic uncertainty because you are not dependent on one source of income. Opportunity comes to those who create it. Selling creates opportunity. Leadership scales it. Truth is, many people avoid selling and leadership because both require exposure. They require being seen. They require risking rejection. They require confidence. But confidence does not appear first. Action appears first. Confidence is built through showing up and learning through experience. Every conversation, every pitch, every attempt builds strength. The only way to become comfortable is to begin while uncomfortable. The wealthy practice communication relentlessly. They know that their ability to translate value into words determines how far their value travels in the world. They know that clarity turns interest into action. They know that confidence turns hesitation into commitment. How you speak shapes how the world responds to you. Learning to sell and lead changes the way you think. It trains you to solve problems instead of avoid them. It trains you to influence outcomes instead of submit to them. It trains you to move through fear instead of staying trapped in it. These skills transform your mindset from passive to powerful. Think of the people who rise the fastest in companies. They are not the ones who work quietly in the corner. They are the ones who communicate clearly, take initiative, and help others succeed. They make themselves visible by making themselves valuable. Think of the entrepreneurs who build empires. They are not the ones with the best product alone. They are the ones who tell the story that makes the product matter. If you want wealth, you must be willing to step forward, speak up, share your ideas, advocate for yourself. The world is full of silent talent that never rises because silence is mistaken for lack of value. When you learn to sell and lead, your value becomes undeniable. You do not become a leader by waiting for someone to grant you the title. You become a leader by being the person others look to when direction is needed. You do not become a salesperson by memorizing scripts. You become a salesperson by believing deeply in the value you bring. These skills will challenge you, they will stretch you, they will expose your insecurities and force you to strengthen them. But the reward is freedom. The freedom to shape your future with your voice, your ideas, and your influence. The wealthy teach their children to speak with confidence, to trust their ideas, to solve problems boldly. They teach them that rejection is not a failure but a filter. Every no brings you closer to a yes. Every hesitation overcome becomes a new level of power. The next step in your journey is learning to think like an investor, someone who sees opportunities through the lens of growth and understands that wealth comes from having your money and your skills multiply together. And that is exactly where you are heading next. Thinking like an investor is the moment you stop seeing money as something you earn and start seeing it as something you grow. It is the mindset shift that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck in the same financial cycle. Investors do not ask how to earn more money through effort alone. They ask how to multiply every dollar that enters their life. They understand that income earned by working is limited by time, but income earned through investing has no such boundary. Most people wait for extra money before learning how to invest. Investors invest so they can have extra money. The order matters. Waiting keeps you where you are. Acting moves you forward. An investor understands that money is a seed. When planted wisely, it grows into a tree. When ignored, buried inside a bank account or spent on temporary pleasures, it remains a seed forever. Investors see opportunities where others see uncertainty. When most people experience fear, investors experience strategy. They know that discomfort often signals the beginning of something valuable. Every innovation, every new market, every shift in society creates opportunities for those who pay attention. That is why investors study trends, industries, and human behavior. They watch where money is flowing and position themselves where the future is heading, not where the past has already been. Being an investor does not mean taking reckless risks. It means taking educated risks. It means making decisions based on knowledge rather than emotion. The poor think risk is something to avoid. The wealthy know risk is something to manage. Risk without education is gambling. Risk with education is growth. Investors do not fear the unknown because they take time to understand it. They evaluate, they analyze, they observe patterns, and they choose with purpose. One of the greatest advantages investors have is leverage. Leverage allows small actions to create large outcomes. A business owner does not need to personally sell every product. A real estate investor does not need to personally build every property. A shareholder does not need to personally run the company they invest in. Investors use systems, markets, and other people's expertise to expand their results. They remove limits by multiplying the sources of their income. Investors think long-term. They understand that wealth built fast often disappears faster. True wealth is built through consistent, intelligent decisions repeated over time. Compounding is their closest ally, small gains, building on small gains until the growth becomes unstoppable. While others seek immediate rewards, investors are patient because patience pays the highest dividends. Investors do not celebrate buying liabilities that impress others. They celebrate buying assets that pay them. They do not chase status symbols, they chase cash flow. They do not measure success by how much they spend. They measure success by how much they grow. They are not concerned with looking wealthy today. They are focused on being wealthy permanently. To think like an investor, you must also learn to detach your emotions from your decisions. Fear, greed, excitement, and panic can destroy wealth faster than a bad market. Investors stay calm when others lose control. They make choices based on logic, not impulse. They know that emotional decisions create inconsistent results, but strategic decisions create reliable ones. Investors are constantly learning, not because they want to be the smartest person in the room, but because money rewards those who understand it deeply. They learn from each investment, each success, each mistake. They know that every piece of information becomes an advantage, and the more advantages you collect, the closer you move to financial freedom. One of the most important lessons investors understand is that timing is never perfect, but action always beats hesitation. Markets rise and fall, opportunities come and go. Waiting for certainty is the same as waiting forever. Investors know that starting early, even with small amounts, builds more wealth than starting late with large amounts. Your greatest investment is not your first stock, not your first property, not your first business. Your greatest investment is your decision to learn how to invest. Everything begins in the mind. Once you learn to think like an investor, you will begin seeing chances to grow everywhere you look. You will notice assets disguised as ordinary situations. You will notice potential in places others overlook. You will act while others doubt. You do not need millions to think like an investor. You need curiosity, patience, and courage. You need to focus on opportunities instead of excuses. You need to decide that your money must work harder than you do. The moment you commit to that belief, you join the minority who shape their own financial destiny. Thinking like an investor means believing in a future that is bigger than your present. It means trusting the process of growth even when results are not immediate. It means directing your money with intention rather than letting it disappear without meaning. It means choosing advancement over appearance. It means becoming a builder of wealth instead of a collector of things. Investors do not predict the future, they prepare for it. And the more prepared you are, the more the future rewards you. In the next chapter, you will learn how the wealthy navigate uncertainty with confidence and protect their progress through one powerful skill: managing risk intelligently so that nothing can stop the life you are building. Risk is not the enemy of wealth. Ignorance is. Those who fear risk spend their lives avoiding opportunities that could change everything. Those who master risk build a future that cannot be taken from them. The difference between these two people is not courage alone, it is understanding. Wealthy people do not gamble, they calculate, they do not jump blindly, they climb strategically. Risk, in the hands of someone educated and prepared, becomes the bridge to financial freedom. Every decision in life carries risk. Staying where you are is a risk. Working a single job is a risk. Saving money without investing is a risk. Relying on others to support you is a risk. People forget that avoiding risk does not eliminate danger. It increases vulnerability. Playing small may feel safe for a moment, but it creates a future built on uncertainty. Playing smart creates a future built on strength. Smart risk means understanding the downside while pursuing the upside. It means asking, what is the worst that can happen? Can I survive it? What is the best that can happen? Is it worth it? If the worst outcome will not destroy you and the best outcome will transform you, the risk is worth taking. Wealthy thinkers are not afraid of losing small, they are afraid of losing the chance to win big. Growth always lives outside the comfort zone. Inside comfort, everything stays the same. Outside comfort, everything becomes possible. The fear you feel in moments of opportunity is not a warning, it is a sign of expansion. It is your mind preparing to become someone stronger than your old version. When you move toward a bigger life, fear does not mean stop. Fear means go with awareness. The wealthy do not take every risk, they take the right risks. They protect themselves with knowledge, understanding the investment, the market, the system. They protect themselves with diversification, never putting everything they have in one place. They protect themselves with exit strategies, knowing how and when to adjust. And they protect themselves with resilience, keeping enough strength to recover and rise again. Every great opportunity begins as uncertainty. Most people wait for certainty, and by the time they see the opportunity clearly, it has already passed. Investors take action while others hesitate. Entrepreneurs move while others question. Leaders decide while others delay. Certainty is a luxury that arrives only after bravery has already acted. The biggest mistake people make is confusing comfort with safety. Comfort feels good now but damages the future. Growth feels uncomfortable now but strengthens the future. Those who avoid discomfort today pay a higher price tomorrow. Those who welcome discomfort today live with greater freedom tomorrow. Smart risk is the willingness to choose temporary discomfort over permanent limitation. Look at every breakthrough person of influence. They all stepped into the unknown while others clung to the familiar. They started the business that had no guarantees. They invested when others doubted. They learned new skills even when it felt difficult. They left environments that no longer matched their vision. Their success did not come from perfection. It came from motion. You do not need to take extreme risks to grow. Small, consistent risks create unstoppable momentum. Building a new skill is a risk. Starting a side business is a risk. Investing a small amount each month is a risk. Speaking up with your ideas is a risk. But each risk strengthens your financial muscles. Each risk expands your capacity for more. When you choose smart risks, you choose a bigger future. The question is not, what if I fail? The question is, what if I never try? Failure can teach you. Hesitation can only hold you. One decision can transform the direction of your life. Most regret does not come from what people tried and lost. It comes from what they never tried at all. Smart risk requires self-belief. Belief that you can learn. Belief that you can adapt. Belief that you can rise even after setbacks. When you believe in your ability to figure things out, risk becomes less frightening. And when risk becomes less frightening, life becomes more exciting. You are not here to live a story of caution. You are here to live a story of growth. Your financial transformation is not just about accumulating money. It is about expanding your capacity to think bigger, act bigger, and become bigger. Every time you step forward, the world opens a little more. You have already taken a powerful risk, the risk of changing your mind, and once the mind changes, the life follows. In the final chapter, you will step fully into the identity that brings all of this together. The identity of someone who owns their future, directs their destiny, and embodies the freedom they once only dreamed about. Freedom is not something you buy at the end of a long career. Freedom is a mindset you build with every decision, every belief, every step into the future you choose. It is a shift in identity from someone who is controlled by money to someone who controls money. Wealth does not begin with numbers. Wealth begins with ownership. Ownership of your time, ownership of your choices, ownership of your life. For most of the world, money is a master. It dictates where they go, how they live, what they can say yes or no to. It becomes the reason they wake up and the excuse they fall asleep with. They feel grateful just to survive another month. But survival was never meant to be the goal. The goal is to live, to expand, to experience, to create, to have the power to shape your life. according to your vision and not according to your circumstances. The identity of freedom begins with a new conversation inside your mind. Instead of asking, "Will I have enough to get by?" you begin asking, "How far can I go?" Instead of hoping the month ends without disaster, you begin planning the next move that elevates you. You stop seeing yourself as a person who works for money. You become a person who builds systems that money flows through. This transformation does not happen when you reach a certain income. It happens when you reach a certain belief. The belief that you are no longer playing a game someone else created. You are creating your own rules. You are no longer following a path others showed you. You are clearing a path no one walked before. You are rewriting what money means in your life, from survival to strategy, from pressure to power. Freedom also changes how you measure success. You no longer measure success by salary, titles, or what others can see. You measure success by the control you have over your time and your choices. When you can say no without fear, you are free. When you can take a day off without worry, you are free. When you can walk away from anything that disrespects your peace or your purpose, you are free. Freedom is not the absence of work. It is the presence of choice. The person you used to be made decisions based on fear, scarcity, and urgency. The person you are becoming makes decisions based on growth, strategy, and intention. Instead of reacting to life, you are now designing it. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you are creating opportunities. Instead of chasing money, you are positioning money to chase you. The wealthy mindset is not about having everything. It is about becoming someone who can handle anything. It is the confidence that no matter what changes around you, you can continue to build. It is the skill to solve problems with knowledge instead of panic. It is the ability to rise again if life ever tries to push you down. Freedom is not fragile. Freedom is resilient. Your financial identity becomes your financial destiny. If you believe money is difficult, it runs from you. If you believe money is possible, it approaches you. If you believe money is your ally, it works for you. Every breakthrough in your financial life begins with a breakthrough in your self-image. You cannot build a wealthy life with a poor mindset. You cannot expect abundance while living in fear. You cannot become free while thinking like someone who is trapped. The story you tell yourself becomes the reality you step into. So write a better story, a story where you are capable, prepared, powerful, and determined. A story where your past does not limit you. A story where every step forward expands what you believe is possible. You are no longer defined by the world you were born into. You are defined by the world you are building. The habits you have developed, the mindset you have strengthened, the skills you have learned, the risks you have taken, the assets you have built, all of them are shaping a new version of you. You have already transformed. You see money differently. You see yourself differently. You see life differently. You are no longer driven by fear of not having enough. You are driven by the excitement of becoming more. The identity of freedom does not wait for a perfect future. It begins with a single decision, to trust that every step toward growth is rewriting your destiny. You are now a person who knows how money works. You are now a person who builds wealth on purpose. You are now a person with a future designed by vision, not by chance. Look at how far you have come. You have broken beliefs that held generations before you. You have stepped out of patterns that millions never escape. You chose education over confusion, assets over appearances, strategy over struggle, progress over comfort. And now the world must respond to the person you are becoming. Your journey does not end here. It rises here. This is the beginning of a new identity, an identity built on freedom, power, and possibility. You no longer ask if wealth is possible. You ask how far wealth can take you. You no longer wait for luck. You build momentum. You no longer fear change. You are driven by it. You are the kind of person who takes control of their story. You are the kind of person who sees a bigger life and chooses to grow into it. You are the kind of person who will not settle for survival when you are capable of success. Freedom is no longer a dream reserved for others. Freedom is now your direction. From this moment forward, you walk with the identity of someone who owns their financial future. You walk with the discipline that builds wealth. You walk with the courage that multiplies opportunity. You walk with the confidence of someone unafraid to rise. Your new life has already begun, and the greatest chapters are still ahead.